Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. We're live. It's great to see so many people joining in today. Amazing to have everyone here with us. I'll just get started in a minute or two as people are continuing to join. But while we get started, I have a question. I just want to know where all you guys are joining in from today. I love asking this question every time I go live. So just drop it in the chat. Just let me know where you guys are joining us from today. I want to see how spread out the group is. I want to see different parts of the world you guys are joining in from. So yeah, let me know and absolutely just drop your names in the chat, drop your countries in the chat. Would love to talk to you guys. For the people who are just joining in and we haven't started yet, uh, just drop your countries in the chat. Tell me where you guys are joining from. We'll get started in a minute. In a minute, as people just keep joining in. Amazing. I see that Joe is joining in from Detroit. Hey Joe, how's it going? We've got people from United States, Canada. Amazing to see that we have a bit of a diverse audience. Awesome. Amazing. I'll just wait for a few more minutes and to break the ice a little. Let me know for the people who are just joining. We're just asking where everyone is joining us from. We're just seeing how spread out the group is, and I'll just start in a few minutes as people are joining us. And let me just introduce myself in the meanwhile. Hello, everyone. I am Sudes, and I will be your host today. I work at the growth team at Astera, and I spent a lot of my time talking to finance and operations teams, exactly like you. And I talked to them about the exact problem that we are going to be looking at today and we're going to be covering today. Joining me are the two people that I am super excited to have on that you see in front of your screen along with me. We have Jay Mishra. He's the data architect and the product leader at Estera, with 20 years of experience building enterprise AI, Gen AI automation platforms. He has worked with prospects that are facing their exact challenges. He has deep expertise in AP operations and automation. He's going to be giving us the real picture of what's happening out there in the industry today. And I want to introduce Hera as well. Hera is a data solutions engineer. She specializes in AI-driven data extraction, document processing, and enterprise integration. Hera is going to be walking you guys through a live demo of DocSpire later in this session. All right. So before we begin, a few housekeeping rules for everyone. Whatever questions you guys have, your thoughts, your comments, just feel free to drop them right there in the chat or the Q&A section that you see on the screen. As they come up throughout the session, anything that comes into your head, any thoughts or anything, just drop them in the chat box. And I promise we'll get to them right around at the end. And guys, please make sure that you stick around because we're giving a $100 gift card towards the end of the session. So, and you have to be present to win. So, now before I kick things off, I want to understand where you guys are coming from. I want to essentially take the temperature of the room, and I'm going to make a poll live in just a second. This one is just to gauge the temperature, as I was just saying, to understand how automated your process is today. I'm sure all of you guys are processing invoices. I just want to understand how automated the invoice processing is today. I've made the poll live. Go ahead and select your answers. And Jay and I and Hera will see what people are saying. Okay, Jay, I see people have started responding to the poll. Some people say that their process is mostly manual. I see that there's some automation. Hey, take a look at that, Jay. I see a lot of people are saying that they are using basic OCRs out there. That's amazing. I mean, it's a great spread, honestly. I feel like there's some people manually doing things, still manually doing things, some people moving to basic automation. And that's exactly why we're here today, guys. So let's just, without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Let's get into it. All right, Jay, I want to bring you in quickly, and I want to start with the big picture because I think a lot of people on this call, a lot of our audience, they're navigating the same thing here. AI is everywhere right now, and every team has it on their homepage. They have their pitch decks. They're making use of AI essentially everywhere. But what about AP and finance specifically? What are you actually seeing on the ground? Is it real transformation or is it mostly hype?
Let's start with a simple, succinct statement. It's both. The hype is real. Everyone is adding AI to their product pages, but the outcomes are also real. And the gap between the companies moving fast on this versus those who are waiting to see how it unfolds, that gap is widening. What I'm saying, finance teams that were drowning in invoice backlogs 6 months ago are now running touchless processes on 80, 90% of their volumes. And that's not a vendor pitch. These are the calls I'm personally on every week. One stat on this slide, the 59%, it is from Gartner. So that means if you're not using AI in your operations, you are already in minority. And the teams that are already there, they're using it, they're not going back. So that's what the ground reality is. We are seeing a wide adoption of AI in various stages, of course, depending on when you got in the race. Depending on that, there are different stages of I would say maturity, and the solutions are showing. And some of the scenarios we are seeing the very matured solutions producing amazing results. So that's what we are seeing with our actual customers, and the adoption is increasing rapidly.
I mean, awesome. I get understand what you're saying here. Uh, all right, so we've started off with the big picture, and I see that for the most teams that are starting to move past the hype into action. I wanted to ask you, Jay, what does that evolution look like, where they're essentially trying to implement AI at their companies? What does it look like in practice?
The clearest way I can show it is using before and after. It's a great slide.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Um, the transformation is happening right now. On the left hand side, what you see is the traditional process where the manual invoice entry is happening. The invoices could be in various forms. It could be a scanned image of a high quality invoice. It could be a crumpled invoice and a picture is taken of it. It could be anywhere in between. Depending on the quality of the image, quality of the document, there are different steps for the OCR and the related processes for extraction. And then basically we are looking at the data entry. Then we are looking at the processes following data entry, that is matching it with the purchase orders, for example, looking at the deduplication and so on and so forth. So the entire process is a very uh, time-taking process, and it has actual cost associated with it. In the previous slide, there was a large number, $15 per
Yeah.
invoice is the average cost. And that is average cost, keep in mind. Some invoices are very simple, some can be complex. Average time spent is 15 to 40 minutes. And even with that, let's say that you have a very well-trained team of people, and let's say you're doing outsourcing, even including all of that, you're looking at the built-in inefficiencies in the system. You're looking at sometimes missed documents, numbers going incorrectly, duplicate invoices, and then sometimes basically just poor judgment because it is not going through the right process. All of that costs business. Whereas the new implementations that we have been doing in past year and a half, this is how it looks like on the right-hand side. Um, an agentic system where each of these roles in your business process of AP automation, each of these roles are played by agents powered by AI, of course. And these agents are able to perform tasks like go and fetch data from a portal, from an email source, take that data, extract, of course, data is a document, take that document, extract data out of it, then do some data verification, data quality checks. Then let's say you want to do three-way match and so on and so forth. The approval processes, all of that work, or even more complex business process if you have it currently, all of that can be automated. And human in the loop is required only when there is an exception, as in if an invoice cannot be processed with the system, the confidence score is very low. In that case, a human is involved, and then that is going to be processed manually. So this is the difference now. Compare the two, and this image actually does justice to what we are saying, the ground reality that is the teams using AI versus teams not using AI.
I mean, absolutely. And that before picture makes it awfully clear and painfully clear, might I add, for a lot of teams that are in our audience right now. Because I think the after picture that you've shown on the slide here, it raises a question. And it raises a question in my head that I want to put to the audience right now. So I'm going to make another poll live. And Jay, we'll see what the audience thinks. So we'll see what the audience thinks. And I have the feeling that the answers are going to be telling us a story. So I'm going to launch a poll. And the question being, and Jay, feel free to answer this one if you want. Where does your team spend most of its time processing invoices today? This is a question for the audience, but Jay, I also would like to take your 2 cents on this. Where do you think most teams are spending their time processing invoices today?
Absolutely. The variations in the document structure itself, that's actually a huge challenge. So it's easy to build a solution for, let's say, one specific vendor that is always
Mm-hmm.
sending you invoice in certain format, and that can be handled. But imagine that you have hundreds of vendors, sometimes thousands, and everyone has their own format. They are sending in different formats, and the quality of the documents also keeps changing. So quality and the format variations. This is the extraction challenge, and the traditional OCRs or the OCRs even um, powered by AI, quote unquote. We call it
Yeah.
basically an OCR with a coat of paint. That is not sufficient to provide.
Yeah, OCR wrapped in a gift paper or a bubble wrap. Nice. But I feel like the audience agrees with you somewhat, but a majority are facing a bit of a different issue, which we'll cover later on in the session as well. The most famous option, which about 25-26% of the people have voted for, is chasing approvals and dealing with approval delays. I feel like as the votes are stacking up, the two front runners in the challenges section that we have is the one that you mentioned, where we're handling multiple invoices formats from different vendors, and obviously chasing after people for approvals and dealing with delays. So we're gonna cover all of it, guys. So don't you worry about that. I mean, absolutely. This gives us a pretty good picture, Jay. Don't you think so?
I do, and
Uh,
let me actually add a quick thought about the second point. This is something that I was going to mention anyways, but I would like to talk about it quickly here, and that is the extraction itself is only about 20% of the process. Typical AP flow is much longer, and that does include those approvals, human in the loop, the conditionals, the verifications, three-way matches. So extraction done, that is maybe just one-fifth of the workflow. The rest also has a lot of complexities involved. An automated system is supposed to take care of all of that, including all these approval processes and all that. And so definitely, I agree with that assessment. That is also a huge challenge.
mhm. absolutely. And I think we've established the problem so far. We've been conversing for a few minutes here, and I think the problem is real, absolutely. But the cost of solving that problem is also real, and there needs to be a way to fix it properly. Now, here's where it gets super interesting. Okay, so because the next question that I want to ask you, Jay, is essentially, I'll just put it plainly out there. A lot of people ask me this, so I want to ask you this question as well. Do we buy a solution or do we just build one? Because with the rise of all this wipe coding out there, with the rise of tools like Claude Code and Claude Cowork and OpenAI Codex and all these agentic coding platforms that are on the rise today, it's super easy to build a solution. It's super easy to just develop your own solution. So I hear a lot of companies have AI tools and engineers can spin up a prototype super fast. And with someone in the room, they always say, why do we pay for something when we can build something ourselves? So Jay, what do you say when you hear that?
Absolutely. And I've been through that process. So I have personal experience with this.
Yeah.
And every engineering team I talk to, they have gone through this process, this phase, I would say. When Cursor and Cloud Code specifically, when that came into picture, vibe coding is a thing. And um, over the weekend, I've seen actually working prototype, functional prototypes being prepared on and their Monday demos where, hey, look at this. This does all the work. And it does. Actually, it is, you can really build a fully functional working prototype in a matter of a couple of days. But the challenge is that the solutions are not, or production grade solutions, I would say, are not built with just giving high level instructions about what you need to code. Coding is just one part of the puzzle. The rest is basically the depth of the solution, where have you considered A, B, C, and D? Have you considered these complexities? So what we have done is we have over the years, we have decades actually in this field,
Mm-hmm.
going to the real world scenarios and seeing all the variations, catering to those nuances of the whole business processes. So all of those are built in carts that is actually a production grade product versus your vibe code solution will be definitely lacking it. That is point number one. Point number two is that the maintenance of it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have understanding of this code? Because writing code is one thing. To own the code and maintain it, what is happening inside the code if something breaks? Somebody has to be responsible for that and go and fix that. The 3M calls of, hey, production is broken, my invoices are not moving through my system, cannot be going to an AP team member. So those things are the real challenges. And for prototyping, I definitely see that it is, or actually seeing the value of it. Definitely, it's a good fit. But when it comes to serious enterprise grade products, in my opinion, vibe coding does not, it's not a viable solution.
Mm-hmm. That clears a lot for me personally, honestly, and I feel like a lot of people on this call have actually lived that story as well. They might have thought at some point that they could build a solution themselves instead of going out there and trying to buy one, because that's a hectic process, of course. And building is more and more attractive with the rise of all these agentic tools out there. So I want to ask this directly from the audience, and I'm asking this question to you guys. What do you think? Have you ever tried exploring or building solutions in-house? And with that, I'll just make another poll live so that you guys in the audience can tell me if you've ever tried to build a solution on your own. And if so, let me know how it turned out for you guys. I'm just gonna make a poll live right now. There you go. Let me know. Let me know if you guys have lived this thing before, and if you guys have experienced essentially building an in-house invoice automation solution. To be more clear. Let's see what people say, Jay and Hera. Please feel free to chip in over here. And oh, there you go. People have started responding already. All right. So I see that a majority of our audience here have, in fact, at some point tried building a solution, but they've hit roadblocks. And The second most voted answer is that they're still exploring solutions. So some of the people have not tried, but yeah, the most famous one is that people have tried wipe coding out there, what you were saying just now, Jay, and they've hit roadblocks essentially. So that's cool. That's amazing. All right, I'll just keep. I see a lot of comments going on in the chat as well, and don't you worry, guys. I see all the questions that you guys are asking. I'm keeping an eye on everything. I will get to these questions towards the end. Don't you worry about that. All right. So
Yes,
a question. Yeah,
yeah,
go
just
ahead, Jay.
one quick point I would like to add here, and this is my own personal experience. So if you're looking at any solution vibe coded, I've seen specifically for the AP process AP automation. If you're looking at like, hey, here is 5 documents, and you want to build something, sure, you can talk about hey, here is a header, here is footer, here is the data and line items and all that. For a few documents, it turns out pretty okay. But the real challenge is that in real life, it is not 10 documents. You're looking at thousands of documents, sometimes hundreds of thousands. And those documents, they have variations, they have um, format challenges and all that. So what worked in prototype stage, when it goes to production, this is where the real challenges start to appear. And then
Mm-hmm.
that solution is not holding. That's the pattern we see all the times.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to add that quick point.
Yeah, absolutely. That does make a lot of sense. And for everyone who's hearing in the audience right now, why don't you guys drop it in the chat? if you if you're a person who selected that yes you tried to wipe code before, what roadblocks did you hit? I would love to know, and I would love to comment on them. We'll get back to you guys towards the end of the session. But moving on, I have a curious question for you, Jay. So is there a scenario essentially in place where building in-house actually makes more sense?
Sure. If you have a very narrow scope, so let's say that you deal with only 5 types of invoices and they have exactly fixed structure, and you can define the scope very clearly, then vibe code it. More likely than not, it is going to work. Um, that scenario, I would say definitely it's a good fit. However, there's one more challenge that stays with that scenario, and that is the engineering resources, the people who maintain the solution. What if something breaks? Who understands the code inside and out? If something breaks, can you go and fix it? That again, the dreaded 3 a.m. Call. Okay, hey, this is my production data is stuck. It is not moving. How do we address that? So those scenarios are actually a challenge. And as long as you have a dedicated engineering resources on your team and you have well-defined scope, the answer is yes, you can.
Awesome. That clears up essentially a lot, and I think that maps out really well to invoice processing specifically, but also the broader scope around it. Because our product, as you guys will see in just a moment, is not just invoice processing or data extraction. That's not what makes our company unique. And this is what Jay was getting at as well, because when you want deep customization around something, that's your core business. That you buy when the problem is already solved. That's what we're getting at. You want to buy a solution that has been battle tested, what I like to call it, and you just need it to work. And AP falls pretty squarely in the buy category, in my opinion. With this, Jay, I have another question for you. So so what brings me to Doxpire. Jay, for anyone who has not heard of it yet, who doesn't even know what Doxpire is, would you mind telling the audience what Doxpire is all about? And what is the problem that why is this problem worth solving that we're working towards?
Absolutely. So, excuse me. Stata has been around in the field of data integration and automation for over 2 decades now. We have worked with Fortune 500 companies in the finance vertical, healthcare, pharmaceuticals, many verticals. And across all of them, document processing kept coming as an unresolved problem. And actually, it is the front door of the entire business process.
Yeah.
If your data itself is messy and you're not able to ingest it,
Hmm.
how good is the rest of the process? So we kept
Exactly.
seeing this issue again and over again. And over the years, of course, we have built a very deep suite of products and features, components, if you will, um, to handle data extraction, data quality, data processing, data validation, and data warehousing, analytics. So we have a suite of products. And over the years, we gathered a lot of expertise in how to build the entire business process automation. We addressed this entire area of unresolved, I would say unresolved area for document processing. And we came up with this product, DocSpire. So DocSpire is basically addressing that, what we called from procurement to payment, the entire end-to-end automation, not just the first 20% of data extraction using OCR. We are talking about end-to-end. Whatever business process you have, we'll take that, model it quickly, and we're talking about matter of hours. Model it quickly, and product suddenly looks like your internal business process automation, and all powered by AI. And that is doing all the heavy lifting. Sometimes we are seeing that one number that is telling is 99.5%. I'm particularly proud of. That is the accuracy. To
Mm.
get to the accuracy of 99.5%, let that number just sink in the context of, let's say, 20,000 documents being processed in a month.
Yeah.
So if you get to that level, you are getting to less than 100 documents that you have to look at. These are the exception where there is actual real issues, and you have to manually look at that. But remaining everything else, it's just flowing through the system. So that is the kind of value we bring to bring to the table, where
Mm.
excuse me, your entire AP from procurement all the way to the payment, including all your business processes, whether it is three-way matching, your data verification, data quality checks, depositing data in the right destination, all of that will be handled. So the entire work,
Mm.
I would say workflow will be automated. So that's what DocSpire is. And this is a product that has evolved quite a bit.
Mm.
To get to 99.5% accuracy is no easy feat. So
Exactly. Yeah, it's a no meat feed. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. And I just want to chip in over here a little bit because I talked to a lot of prospects, like I was saying at the beginning of this call, and they tell me that there's a lot of tools out there in the market that do exactly what we do, and essentially to the point where you're saying that it's most of the tools out there are essentially OCRs, freshly painted OCRs. That's what you call them. So that's what I wanted to address. So that's exactly the gap that most tools out there miss. A lot of them claim to have full automation, no doubt. But the moment a vendor changes their invoice layout, the whole flow breaks apart. That's what people tell me. And the thing is that invoices arriving imperfectly, that's not the exception. That's what you need to be prepared for. So what ends up happening when people go to these different vendors is that people have to manually step in and fix things, which defeats the entire point. So when someone's actually evaluating options, Jay, I wanted to ask you this question. When someone is going out there and looking at all these competitors out there in the market and they're evaluating options, what should they be looking for? And where does DocSpire sit differently?
absolutely. So let's have a quick look at this slide here. And this site is familiar to anyone who has worked with invoice processing. They come in all different shapes and different quality or different hygiene, I would say, of the documents. Sometimes the documents are neatly scanned, and there's nothing wrong with that. You do the OCR and you're good to go. Whereas some will have redactions, sometimes coffee spills, sometimes crumpled paper that is coming out. So we've seen the entire range, right?
Yeah.
And that itself is a huge challenge. The idea is that we cannot discard any of that, any of those documents. We cannot just send it back and okay, hey, we're not going to be processing it. We still have to process it. So the solution should be matured enough to handle all the varieties, all the variations that we encounter in ingesting the documents whose quality is not under our control. So we have we've seen such patterns. And if you're looking at a matured product, what you're looking for is, does it have built-in capabilities to handle all these idiosyncrasies of the process, or the curveball, if you will, that is being thrown
Mm,
at you. And in all the stages, I would say the starting stage is, of course, which we are showing on the screen. That is the ingestion itself. So there, the OCR is going to be challenged, and OCR also has been around for a long time. It has evolved quite a bit, but it is not one size fits all. There is
mm,
one thing that we see routinely is what is called adaptive OCR. That's what we do internally. Adaptive is basically it adapts automatically to the incoming document. So if it is a good, neatly scanned document, a simple OCR is good enough. But if it is skewed, or it is, let's say that something is cut off or it is torn, then there is a different next stage is going to be applied, and so on and so forth. So whole dynamically applying and changing OCR engines internally if need be. So that is the kind of maturity we're talking about. So look at the maturity of the product, and is it able to handle all the variations? Because 60% or 50% or even 70% is not good enough. Can you get to 90s, late 90s? That's what the goal should be.
absolutely.
So
Yep.
so that
Go
is
ahead,
one
Jay.
thing I would that is one thing I would like to kind of highlight, and that is um, the extraction piece you pay attention to, and then of course post extraction. That's actually
Yes.
what my personal favorite is. And post extraction, there is I would say, in a typical process, extraction is only 20%. The remaining 80% is post extraction. And
Hmm.
that also is very complex process. Even in a typical scenario, we have seen that is sometimes 3 to 4 steps post extraction. And a complex one can have dozens of steps, including approvals, conditionals, and so on and so forth. So couple of things about Doxpire. What we do is, it is not based on a specific template or structure. It automatically will be able to look inside the document, figure out what kind of document it is. It knows what it needs to extract to make sense of it, and with high degree of accuracy. So that is all AI powered. Our agents do that. They go inside the document and extract the right data. And I say right data because there is association of the metadata as well. It needs to know which field is which, what is the meaning of it. Sometimes the formatting of the fields, that is also important. We see all the times in addresses, for example, the dollar values. If you're dealing with the international invoices, it could have a different kind of the currency notation and all that. So those things should be automatically handled. So our agents are able to extract, make sense of the data, and they're all completely context aware.
Hmm. But what about you? You essentially hinted at this, and I wanted to ask you a question about this. So we're talking about going beyond just extraction, right? So
Mhm.
how do we go beyond this extraction? We've talked about context-aware data extraction, but what about someone, let's say, who says that sure, extraction is not a bottleneck.
Mhm.
We can do extraction pretty well. Extraction doesn't alone solve their problem though. What if the data is not accurate, or what if the data is not validated, and you're just pushing errors downstream faster with this automated extraction? How do we resolve that?
Absolutely. And I think that is the key strength of our product. That is using our workflow automation, and that will be configured for your scenario. This is no one size fits all. Whatever your business process is, we take that process and we will model that in this product. And that also happens very quickly. We're talking about a matter of few hours. Within a day, your entire model, business process is modeled in our product. A typical scenario, as shown on the slide, is that it may involve some verification, some three-way matches. So if I have an invoice, does it match with the purchase order? Are the numbers matching? If the numbers are exceeding, or the dates, is it late payment, and so on and so forth. A lot of those things basically are something that is evaluated post data extraction. So even those processes are all automated using our agentic solution, where our agents are going to be doing all that work. And this is what I was talking about earlier. It is about 80% of the process. Bulk of the process, or bulk of the time actually, is taken is gone here. So the three-way matches, the validations, the exception detection, the human reviews, the corrections and adjustments, and the approval, all of that is automated using our agentic system. And a human in the loop will be required only when there's a clear, blatant error with some document. So, for example, a document has come in and it looks like basically it is not matching with anything in our system. It looks like a ghost invoice. So it must be flagged. In that scenario, it goes to some other person, and that person is tagged saying that, okay, hey, please have a look at this. We have got an invoice and there's no record of it. There's something, it needs to be reviewed. So that is the only scenario when human in the loop will be involved. Excuse me.
Uh,
So,
all right.
yeah, please.
Yeah. Yeah. Please continue.
So this is the whole validation process we call it, but
Mhm.
the validation is basically at the point when the extraction is done until the point your invoice is completely processed, that is payment.
Mhm.
So, and therefore, actually, I used the term earlier as well, from procurement all the way to the payment. The whole process can be automated.
Mhm. But what about after that? But sure, we've extracted and we validated the work, the extraction. The real question now is, does it fit into your existing system, or does it create more friction? So I want you to talk about maybe integration, because a lot of solutions out there in the market, they do fall short of integrations. How does that work in Doxpire?
Absolutely. So ours is not a system that is going to go and do a deep surgery of your existing system and,
Yeah.
and rip it apart and make changes to it. Ours is an integration solution. So think of it
Mhm.
as like a kind of a glue that will connect all your existing applications and systems. It sits at the top of it. It talks with everyone. So it will ingest your invoices, talk to your ERP system, if need be, to a CRM system, whatnot, whatever applications you have, any custom application you have, it will talk to all of them for reading and writing both. So it has both way handshake with all the applications. So your existing solutions will stay exactly the way they are. They don't change. Our solution will sit at the top of all of them and automate it. So think of it basically that whatever manual process you have, you are replacing that manual process with an AI powered solution. And
Mhm.
in terms of connectivity, we do support all the leading providers, whether it is Oracle, SAP, NetSuite, just to name a few, Microsoft. We support all of
Mhm.
them. These are all plug and play. Basically, you just get the credentials and
Mhm.
you input in your product, and that's it. After that, our product talks to all your ERP and other custom applications as well.
Mhm. All right, perfect. So now what you described is that the data is captured accurately. It is validated so that you know that it's right data, absolutely validated, and it's flowing into the right systems now as well with our automated integrations. The next obvious layer is control, because I'm sure you know this, Jay, as well as all the people in the audience here as well, that finance teams, they don't just want automation, right? They need visibility, and they need compliance, and they need the ability to see and manage the process end to end. So just why don't you walk us through how Doxpire handles tracking and compliance and workflow automation, stuff like that.
Yeah, this is actually the most important piece. If you're talking about any finance team, the first question will be what about security and compliance and audits? So those are all baked in our solution. We have a full audit trail, step-by-step history. So every single step taken by our product is logged with the meticulous details, and that is all available to the user in a dashboard where you can slice and dice it in any which way you want and see exactly what has happened in your process. So that is the audit trail. We have built-in fraud detection, the compliance and security, the tamper-proofing of history for compliance, and to top it all, of course, we have a real-time tracking of the status. So anytime the document is sent to you, and maybe you will probably will see that in demo as well. So a new document arrives, it shows up in a dashboard that arrived, processed with errors maybe, or processed successfully. All of that you can see live, and you can see the stats of it. That okay, I received this 100 documents today or 1,000 documents today, and here is what is processed and what is not. And also, we let our users customize the flow. So I've been talking about it from the beginning. This is not a business process that we have decided for you. This is basically, it comes with a standard, but depending on whatever business process you have, if you have multiple step processes for approvals, we'll implement all of that in our product. So this solution will become a customized solution for your scenario with built-in, of course, the whole enhanced oversight and flexible controls.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Jay. Uh, I think what you've described so far is the full picture of it all. And I think the audience has seen the full picture of it all, from basically capturing data, ingesting data, to validation, to integration, to control, the full pipeline, end-to-end automation, what we've talked about. Now, the question that arises is, what does this actually look like in action? And I saw a few people asking in the chat as well when the actual live demo is gonna show up. So let's just get right into it, right? And let's just move away from the slides and into the product. What does it look like? Hira, I'm gonna invite you to take the floor. Over to you. Show the audience what the product looks like.
Thank you, Sudesh, and thank you, Jay. I'll share my screen. Let me know when you guys can
Yes,
see it, and I'll start with the demo.
absolutely.
So here I have the DocSpire web app here, and this is the user interface. You can see that there is a dashboard here where we can see the number of documents that have been processed, the pages that have been processed, and also the AI accuracy rate for all the documents that I have processed using this. It also has some details on the integrations part, which I will also talk about later. So to start with the demo, I'll quickly just open a document that we just saw in our previous slides. This is an example of a scanned document or a picture of a document. This is not a digital document, does not have selectable text, is also not that easily clear to the human eye. I'd have to zoom in to extract or jot down each and every item name, be it the item number, the quantities, even the line totals. So this is not a very good example of an invoice, but in real life scenarios, most organizations do receive documents like these, and even worse, which might have watermarks or even slightly more tilted. So this is an example of a document that I will start with, the one that we just saw in our slides, and I'll show you how DocSpire can process this document, perform the correct OCR, and then extract our key fields. So I have the document here as an attachment, and I'm sending it to this email inbox that is getting watched by the DocSpire server. So I'll click send. And as soon as I click send here, the DocSpy server that is watching my email inbox is waiting for any document to be received. And as soon as a document is received, it starts processing it. So I will zoom out a bit, and let's take a look at this document here, the extraction of the document. So this is the same document that we were just taking a look at. And here is on my left, you see the original document, but on my right is where we can see the extracted data points. Although the document is not of that great quality, but DocSpire has picked the document, applied the correct or most suitable OCR strategy to read the document, and then after that, it has extracted our key points from the document. So it has extracted the total. Mostly this document has a lot of line items and also has some information um, on the line totals and the total tax, the subtotal, the total of the invoice, and that is what we see here on our screen. So I'll quickly expand on the line item section, which is the most important part for this document since it has a lot of line items that are not too clear. So as you can see, it has extracted the item number, the descriptions, the quantities, the unit price, and if I just scroll down, it has extracted a total of 32 line items. And it is a very fast process end to end. If let's say if a human was to extract or perform this extraction, it would take a lot of time because of one, the number of line items, but also the quality of the document. So it has extracted around 32 line items from this document. And you can also integrate this with your destination, be it a database, a CRM system, and an ERP platform, but you can also directly export the results as well. So I quickly click on exporting this to a CSV, and there you go. It has saved the extracted data in a CSV as well. So this is just to show you how you can quickly do an export, but DocSpire can also integrate with the platform that you're using, using REST APIs, using a backend database connection, um, a cloud platform. So we do have multiple integration options available. Any questions? Jay, any comment you would like to make here before I start or demo the AP use case end to end?
No, this is great. Actually, it shows how quickly and with the accuracy that I was talking about earlier. Let's move on to the whole business process automation around it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is an example of a document of a common document that we receive, which can be an invoice, can be a receipt, can be a purchase order. So I also have two other documents here, and one is an invoice and the other one is a receipt. Now, they also have a corresponding purchase order, which is the ground truth in this case, and it is saved in a database. As soon as I click send for this email, both of these attachments will be picked up by DocSpire. And it will not only perform the extraction, but as Jay mentioned earlier, it will also cross-reference the extracted data points between these different documents. So it will compare the receipt with the purchase order and the invoice with the purchase order, and also do a comparison between the data points that are there in the receipt and the invoice. So I have these documents here, and I can quickly click on view results to show you the invoice that I just sent. And this is the invoice that I have just sent. It has some headers. It is a typical invoice that has some headers, has some vendor related details, the receipt date, some line items, the subtotal, the total of the invoice, the total of the receipt, and this is getting compared with the total on the invoice number that is present here with the invoice number on the invoice. Also, a comparison will be performed with the purchase order that's already saved in the database. So this is a complete three-way match where the purchase order, the invoice, and the receipt are getting compared. So here you can see on my right, we have the summary tab, which shows us the headers. It has the extracted GRN number, the receipt date, the vendor name, all the key details that are present inside the receipt. It has extracted those, and also the items. Anything that has failed the validation criteria that I just mentioned earlier, it is flagging that as an error. So the total amount is not matching the amount on invoice. So the total here, it has flagged that it has compared it with the total on the invoice. And since that has failed the criteria, it is flagging that here. And similarly for the line total. I'll also quickly open the invoice, the corresponding invoice that it has compared this against, and it has compared the line, the total of the invoice, which is not matching here. It is around 5,235, which has failed the validation criteria. And it also similarly has the line items that have been extracted. So this is just to show you how you can look at the extraction on the DocSpire UI, but you can also write this to a database, as I mentioned earlier, or to your or to a table on your CRM system, ERP system.
Mm-hmm.
It can integrate with your system as well.
Hmm.
So is um, here is an example of these two documents that have been compared, but I'd also like to show you the validation rules that I have set here. So this is completely customizable. Just for this example, I am or just for this demo, I have these rules here. You can add more rules to this or even edit existing rules. And also, if you don't want a rule to be applied in your end-to-end processing workflow, you can easily just deactivate that rule. So you can completely customize this to how you want to process your AP workflow. This is just to show you how you can create your own library of these validation rules. Let's say that you have another kind of document. Let's say this is not just limited to invoices and purchase orders. You can also process a bank statement. And let's say that you want to flag the bank statement for any transactions, any suspicious transactions. You could also add a rule for that here. So you can create your own custom rule library. Here you can see the layouts or the schemas that I have defined here for these different documents that we're processing. In case of an invoice, this is the layout or the schema that I have used, but you can edit this, you can add more fields here, you can change this layout, you can remove fields. So this can be changed and modified according to how you or according to the fields that you want to extract out of these documents. So this is a turnkey solution, but um, that comes with flexibility to customize it according to your requirements. Going back to the document queue, this not just shows us the extraction or not just shows us the status of a document, whether it's queued, whether it's pending, um, whether it's in success or is in review. You can also actually look into all the processing steps that were performed when the document was first sent. So I'll right click here to open the tracking section. And here is where you can see the total number of fields that have been extracted, the validation criteria or the validation rules that were applied, and, and if any validation rules passed or failed. It also gives us a very important metric, which is the AI extraction accuracy. As this whole process is AI driven, it works on any kind of document that you give it, be it an invoice, a bank statement, any document, any type of document, and does not depend on a rigid template or one layout or a number of limited layouts. It is able to understand the document and also extract the key fields just like how a human understands a document and can deal with multiple different layouts. So here is where you see the processing timeline. Just below the accuracy scores and other metrics is the steps that were performed for this document. So the first step was the OCR. Since this was not a digital document, the first step was to perform the correct or use a correct OCR strategy. After that, the AI extraction process extracted the key fields here. It also has some details on the AI models that are used. And also finally, it has the step for extracting all the key fields. Now this process comes with these process notifications. So right now in DocSpire, I have added these two emails here, and any step that is performed, let's say that this end-to-end process fails in any errors, you will be automatically notified, and also on its completion. So I am connected to DocSpire through my email, and it is giving me a summary of the recent notifications as well. And I am also receiving these automated alerts on my email inbox. So here you see I've just received an email that says extracted JSON, all these key fields that we were just taking a look at earlier. It has sent me the automated notification. So you can also connect it to your team member's email, the admin's email, and they will be notified whenever a process is completed, a validation criteria is passed or failed, and if a process ends in any errors. So this is a complete package that not only extracts your data, it processes your documents end to end, cross-references different documents, and it also sends automatic alerts. We also have a dashboard and an analytics page over here that you can use for invoice processing. We have different workflows here, but right now I'm just focusing on invoice processing for AP automation, and it has these different sections for vendor overview. It gives us the number of invoices that have been received, that have been processed, the approval rate, any total invoice value, average processing time. So these are different sections that read from the data that have been processed is stored in your database. It is connected to this dashboard and is showing us the data from there. So this is a demo of how you can automate your document workflow, not just a single document extraction, but also how you can process multiple documents and automate your whole workflow using DocSpire.
Absolutely. That was a great demo, Hira. Super clear, might I add. And I think it brings everything that we've discussed so far to life. Amazing demo. Thank you so much for that, Hira. Now, seeing the product is one thing, absolutely. But the real question is, what does it look like in a real environment? Hira, this question is for you. Have you ever come across a company or or a customer uh, that translates, that shows the type of business impact that this product has for a customer? Just give us a real life example, if you will.
Sure. So we often highlight this particular customers, and it is for two key reasons. One of our customers, Gap Solutions, they process a lot of volume. And secondly, the fact that before they came to us, they already extensively evaluated the market and were deeply disappointed. So over a span of nearly 3 years, they tested 4 to 5 major document processing platforms and some of the biggest names out there. But despite all the promises, most solutions only delivered about 10 to 15% of what was expected. So they were processing highly complex documents, and I'll tell you why. Because they had around 3,000 different invoice layouts. They were receiving invoices from over 3,000 different suppliers, and each invoice layout was different. So they needed a process that was able to handle a single workflow that was able to handle all those different variations and
Mhm,
also the volume. So they had documents that were scanned, were slightly tilted, even some had some gibberish text, some watermarks. So traditional OCR tools simply couldn't handle that level of complexity.
mhm.
And most importantly, maintaining thousands of templates and workflows is not feasible for a team that is a small team. So with our AI-driven templateless approach, which is combined with adaptable OCR, as Jay already mentioned, we were able to meet their requirements. Today, they process around 10,000 to 15,000 invoices per month,
Mhm.
roughly that is 250 to 300 invoices per day, and that is across more than 1,000 suppliers. So the key difference now is that they're no longer managing thousands of templates or workflows manually using our tool. They just have a single or limited number of workflows that are able to handle over 3,000 different variations in their invoices. So they've now been with us for over a year and are very satisfied, and they continue to expand their volume.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Hira. A detailed deep dive into your customer use case and the demo, that wonderful demo. Thank you so much for all of that. I think we've covered a lot of ground here. And guys, we're approaching the end of our session. Jay, before we move to the final Q&A session, I want to ask you one last question. And I see that if someone just walks away with one thing from this entire session, this entire detailed, heavy session that we've covered, and they just walk away and they remember only one thing from this entire session, what would that be, in your opinion?
This is how I would put it. The bottleneck is in your finance operations is probably not your people. It's probably not your ERP. It's the document layer, the unstructured, inconsistent data that is coming at the front door from where the invoices come in. Once you solve that layer with the real AI, not again an OCR with a new coat of paint,
Hmm.
everything downstream gets better. Approvals clear faster, payments go out on time, and your team does not does actual finance work instead of data entry. So that's the core messaging. From our side, the promise is what is shown on the slide. If you can define the business process, we will automate it. And that automation is going to be with high degree of accuracy. With the 20,000 invoices that Hira was talking about, it comes down to about 99, like 99.5% of those invoices, they process through your system flawlessly from procurement to payment. So that's how I would summarize it.
Absolutely. I love that, honestly. And on that note, I would actually like to launch one last poll for the audience. And this one's a bit lighter, honestly. And I'm just gonna make the poll live right now. And this is something to think about as you're imagining life on the other side of this. So let's say you've implemented a solution like Doxpire, and you're just imagining how your life would be when we've all that we've talked about is actually in front of you. It's actually happening. I'm gonna make a poll live right now, and answer me this, guys. If invoice automation at your organization worked perfectly, what would you do with all that extra time on your hands? And I'm sure I won't be surprised by some of these answers. But yeah, go ahead and submit your votes and tell me what you would do with all that free time. Do you guys see that? Hira and Jay, people are saying that they'll take a long coffee break. Focus on strategic projects is the front runner for now. Awesome. What do you guys think of this? Jay, Hira, chip in, please.
Absolutely. This is kind of expected. We do see and this as a trend as well with our customers. The finance teams, let them focus on finance work.
Hmm.
Getting them involved with this whole processing operations piece of it is not the right use of their talent and their time. AI is here to help us on those things, and let's make use of it. This can make your entire organization much more efficient and much more profitable.
Absolutely. All right, guys. We're approaching the end of this session. Before we jump into the questions, because I see that there are a lot of questions that are piling up in the chat, and I want to get to each and every one of them. I just wanted to mention that if you guys want to see Doxpire up and running and you want to see it on your own documents, you want to see it pull information from your documents and integrate within your systems. I'm talking about a fully personalized custom demo. Pull out your phones right now and scan this QR code that you see on your screen. This will lead you to a link where you can book your personalized sessions with one of our experts. And we will walk you through your entire specific workflows, your formats, your ERP, everything. It just takes about 30 minutes to go over this demo, but I 100% guarantee that each and every one of those 30 minutes would be worth it. All right, now it's time for the Q&A session, and for everyone who stayed with me so far, thank you so much. Uh, we're gonna announce the $100 gift card winner after the Q&A session. So please bear with me just a bit longer and we'll just start getting to the questions. All right, I'll just pull out some of the best ones that have been piling up for a while now. I see a lot of questions. Just keep the questions coming, guys. If you have any other questions that you feel like you did not ask or maybe we did not cover, just drop them in the chat and we'll get to it. All right. So the first question that I saw is, and Jay and Hera, feel free, any one of you guys, to take this one. Is how many PDF extraction tools are we using? Are AI using? And how this person knows if this one is for them? So they're basically asking how many AI tools we're using and which one would work out for them.
We are not using in a bunch of AI tools. It's our one product that has built-in tools. So going back to what I was describing our origin, we have been in this field for over 20 years. We have built our own tool sets in the last 20 years. A lot of those tooling is used internally in all our packages and including DocSpire. So DocSpire is a solution that is built using our own tool sets. So, of course, some LLM calls and will be made to third-party components as well, some open source, some not open source. But a lot of the tooling actually comes from our own stable or the collection of the tools that we have built over the years.
Mm-hmm. I think that answers it. All right. So the next question we have is Steve is asking that they've seen a lot of tools that sound great, but they don't perform in reality. And this is a question that Steve asked a while ago. So Steve, if you're still on call, this one is for you. And Steve is asking, how do we properly assess what will actually work in our environment?
Yep. Absolutely. The proof is in the pudding. We are not here to just make tall claims and not back it up. We have been in this field for a long time. We work very closely with our customers, and the first step is to do that proof of concept with your own data. You do not buy until you are completely satisfied with it with the solution. That solution does end to end, not just the extraction piece from procurement to the payment, the entire end-to-end automation and your business process. We automate that, we build that, you try it out, and then if you see for yourself if it works for you or not.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Awesome. I hope that answers your question, Steve. All right. I have another one. This is quite interesting, Jay. This is about the vibe coding bit that we
Mm-hmm.
talked about. And a
Mm-hmm.
few people have actually, it comes up this question. So a lot of people are thinking about this. The question is that someone asked when they tried vibe coding, it was really hard to stay consistent. Their ideas felt scattered and the logic wasn't straightforward. So how do we move past that? Essentially, again, the question about buying a solution or building it. So, what would your advice be to this person?
From what I understand, this question appeared like, how do we do vibe coding better? Is that the question? Uh, I wish I had an answer for that. Yeah, no, AI assisted coding is happening, and actually everyone is doing that. That's the way to
Mhm.
go about it. But still, best left to the practitioners, the people who can, the software engineers, the software teams that can build products. So that's how
Yeah.
I would say. Even if it is done by AI, though those people are more equipped to build
Mhm.
meaningful products, do the testing, make sure it is a matured product, and caters to all variations in the use case and all that. Going and If you're talking about um, build versus buy for AP, my strong opinion is that this is AP is at the heart of operations for any organization. You cannot afford to have holes in that. You cannot have a vibe coded application messing it up in different places. So definitely recommend that go with any product, but a product that has been around for some time. Look at your criteria. Criteria has to be that it has to be a matured product and it fits your use case, not just 20%. First 20% it does, and rest is basically again manual process or error prone process. So it should be able to automate all of that and safe guardrails, safety, compliance, all those things that we have talked about in this webinar. All of that,
Mhm.
actually, I would say, apply all of that in your evaluation process and
Mhm.
test it out. Give it some time. Throw most difficult documents at it. And by the way, it is not only invoice. You can have any document processing. DocSpire basically can do any kind of document processing. So take your most complex documents and test with that and see how it behaves. If you're satisfied with that, then you know for sure that it works for everything.
Awesome. And I think you answered the next question as well, somewhat over here, because the next question by Lily was actually if how DocSpire can address automated billing as well. Lily was asking if the platform is HIPAA compliant and what if they have invoices that contain PHI and it needs to be sent securely through the platform.
Absolutely. So there are built-in mechanisms to handle all of that. And keep in mind that this demo was about invoices. We are talking about any kind of document processing. And we have been working with customers in financial services and healthcare. Both have a lot of sensitive data. So we have built-in features to handle sensitive data, whether it is PHI or financial data, sometimes legal contract as well. All of that is handled with built-in features in the product. So that's the beauty of matured products. They have gone through that maturity cycle. When you see that, okay, hey, here is you build a great product, it works, but hey, can it handle the data privacy? Now that is a feature. If you don't have that, the product is no good. It cannot be used in production. So we have, with over the years of experience, we have built in all those features so that at this point it is able to address all of that.
Awesome. I got a bunch of questions. I'm just going to ask them directly. So I have questions about connectors essentially. So we have
Mhm.
questions like, can we connect to QuickBooks? Can we connect to SAP HANA? Can we connect to SAP Business One? Jay, Hira, would you mind answering these?
Let's quickly go through it. I like the way you're grouping them. So the answer is yes. So we
Yeah.
have, we have, yeah, the answer is absolute yes. Talk to our team. We will be more than happy to show it to you. Any connection that you need, that will be able to handle that. Our We have different mechanisms to connect to connectors or connect to your applications. But rest assured, whichever application you're dealing with, whether it is a published known application or even a custom application that was built in 2005 by some IT folks in your organization, we can connect to that too. So it doesn't matter whether your data resides in a well-known application or a custom application, we can connect to all of that.
Awesome. I have one more question. This is for, I think, Hira and Jay, whichever one would you like to take it. This is a very interesting question that I had my eye on. So this person, May, is asking if the question is, I understand that AI learning, that essentially AI is learning from corrections of human loop, but is the correction affect other data? I think essentially what she's asking is that the AI is learning from the correction that we're giving it, but does that correction affect all the other data that is being pulled out of the system?
No, not really. So the way it works is basically I think there is one portion of self-learning. Basically, you can give feedback, and based on that, it learns and behaves differently in the next iteration. So that is a loop that is not even required, to be honest, in processing such documents. Um, if it is needed, it just learns the behavior. It does not impact any other data, but it is about the processing the next time onwards. So when it comes to next time and it sees similar scenario and it sees that, okay, hey, I made a mistake because a human corrected me, so I should behave in a different way. That's about it. So it is not touching any existing data, if that makes sense. If I understood the question correctly.
Awesome. I think we're approaching the end of the session. We've gone above time a lot. There's a lot of questions that are still piling up. So what I would like to do right now is perhaps end this session, and anyone whose question that we've missed out, they can scan this QR code and sign up for this consultation, one-on-one session. Book your personalized demo and ask any questions that you want over there, and we would be more than happy to go into detail into your use case. So yes, absolutely. Pull out your phones and sign up, and we're definitely hoping to talk to you in person, one on one. All right, guys, I want to wrap it up over here. First of all, I have a big thanks to Jay. Genuinely one of the most honest takes I've heard on AP automation in a while. And thank you so much to Hera as well for making this wonderful live demo that you all saw. If you did not get a chance to scan the QR code, again, now is your chance. Scan the QR code or click the link that I've dropped in the chat as well. And you do it before you close this tab. Absolutely. Book the personalized demo, and we'll do a deep dive into your use case, like I said. All right. Now, for the moment that every one of you has been waiting for, so people that have dropped off, I think they missed this chance. But for the people that are still on the call, that stayed with us towards the end, till the end of this session, I'm gonna announce the winner for the $100 gift card, and the winner for the $100 gift card is. You give me a drum roll. And that's Emma Walker. Congratulations, Emma. We'll be reaching out to you directly and providing you details for this $100 gift card. As for everyone else, thank you so much for joining this session with us. Thank you once again, Jay and Mishra, for answering all the questions and having just a wonderful time. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone.